Music is the answer. Sweet music is the way. Gospel, jazz, R&B touches you every day. Talk about how it moves you differently day to day. It's the R&B Bistro. Letting music have its way.
Hello and welcome to the R&B Bistro Up Close and Personal. I'm your host, Venus, here to take you through this musical dance we call life. And to do that, I bring on prominent people in the area to give us some tips to help us make it through. Now today, I'm so excited, delighted, and humbled to have this woman in the house. She is a phenomenal woman by every account. You may know her as the current Associate Pastor of First Baptist of Lincoln Gardens in New Jersey, the Chief Evangelism Officer of Setting the Captives Free Ministries, or noted as an outstanding woman by the Legacy magazine, Ebony, remember that? Or as one of the top 10 women in the state of New Jersey, noted by the Business News New Jersey, and so many more accolades. But she's so much more. Do you know her as the woman? Do you know her as the author of the captivating book, Deceit? Well, get ready, because today we are about to get to know both of them. I'm so delighted to have Dr. Carol Lynn Patterson in the house. How are you?
I'm very well and excited to be with you on Bistro.
Yes. So can we get up close and personal? That's the question.
We better.
All right, now let's go. So I want to go back and start from your beginning. You were in a career with marketing communications and public relations. What led you to ministry?
The Lord.
Okay. What do you say? I need you to do this and not that?
No, it was a gradual process, actually. I started going to Sunday school and Baptist training, and I just had such a thirst for the Word. I wanted more and more of it. And I felt like that deer in the Psalms that pants after God's soul.
Wow. So nice. I think all the ministers say something like that. I didn't hear the call yet, so I'll just keep using the ministries I have. So now, did that training and experience help shape you, or the communications and the marketing and PR, did that help shape your ministry?
It actually did. My mother put it a nice way when some people were saying you change careers. My mother said she's still doing PR, but for a different client.
I like that. That is so cool.
Yes.
That's so cool. I love Mom. So now let's talk for a minute about the organization, Setting the Captives Free Ministries. What exactly do they do? Briefly tell us about that.
The name came to me as a result of the scripture when Jesus enters the synagogue and says that he came to give sight to the blind, release to the captive, liberty, all that kind of stuff. And I've always, from a very young age, wanted to look out for the lost and the least. I had a Ronald McDonald carnival when I was 6 years old.
What did that entail? Did you invite Ronald over?
Oh, no, but my father really supported it. We had a 2-acre backyard. I had a pony ride.
Yes.
We rented some rides.
Nice.
It was a huge success. I raised, I think, $4,000 for Ronald McDonald House. I say I, but of course my parents got behind it and made it happen. But I wanted to do it, and they told me that I could. They always told me that I could do, if I could dream it, I could do it.
That's right. Are you an only child?
No, I have 2 older brothers, but they're so much older than me that I was raised like an only child.
And you're the girl.
That's right.
So the girl is spoiled and all of that stuff.
Of course.
All right. So in all that you do, it appears that people's mind is first and foremost to you. I saw you on a podcast, and your cup had something about the mind on it, and I hadn't seen that when I gathered my questions. So I said, now look at God, look at God.
Yes.
So that seems to be important to you. Is that due to the ministry, or does that come from something else?
I think it comes from something else. En Vogue says, free your mind and the rest will follow. But both of my grandmothers, my paternal and my maternal grandmother were one-room schoolhouse teachers.
Really?
And I have loved to teach. All I ever wanted to do was play school when I was growing up, and I always wanted to be the teacher.
Yeah. So wait, when you were playing school, did you use like a bed and have the students like hairbrushes and bottles of things? And were they the students, or did you
I
have
actually
some
had my real friends be the students.
Get out. Okay. God. And they played along and it was okay.
They did, not for so long, but yes. You know when you're growing up, you play with each person wants to play for a little while. And when it was my turn, it was school.
Oh, so you didn't say, it's my turn, I want to go first?
No.
You didn't do that?
No. Because I was a tomboy. I used to like to ride dirt bikes and do all kind of stuff.
Oh, Lord. Okay. Let's get into this fantastic book, Deceit. Boy, did I have a time reading this. I started reading it on the plane, going somewhere. And I was like, turn it. It's such a wonderful, easy read. And it just flows. But It's got some stuff in it.
Yes, it
So
does.
briefly, for those who haven't read it, and we want folks to go out and get it,
Yes, we
give
do.
us a brief synopsis about the story first.
Well, what Amazon says is people know power couples like Ryan and Brooke. He's a pastor, she's an attorney. They both, on the outside, it looks like they're wonderful and they got it going on. But when you get behind those closed doors, something just doesn't seem right. Brooke isn't that same pep in her step, joyful person. And Ryan, the bishop, he talks the talk, but does he really walk the walk?
Okay, interesting. So now, I'm not going to give anything away. I'm going to try not to give anything away, but it's such a good book.
Oh, we have to share enough to make them want to read it.
It's such a good book. I love the name Brooke. I don't like Bistro. Anyway,
So Brooke is named Brooke Rivers because she's water. She flows. She goes to the level she needs to, when she needs to, how she needs to.
Yeah, she has such a way with words. So you just want to read the book because of that. It's like, anyway, don't let me get sidetracked. So why did you want to write this book and call it Deceit?
I wanted to write it because I wanted to be able to help some young women not go down a path that me and some other former first ladies and current first ladies have. When I was young, I mistakenly assumed that because a man was a preacher, he was a morally good person. And we know all that glitters. Number one. But number two, there are some people who are stuck in some situations feeling like this is it. Maybe God's forgotten them, or maybe it's too late. It's never too late. As long as we're alive, we don't have to be stuck in anything. And that's what Lady Linda Jefferson says in her jacket cover comment. You can always get unstuck.
I like that. So you almost kind of answered my next question. It is a fictitious story, but the events are so serious. Abuse, lies, degradation. What would you advise women that find themselves in the positions that the character Brooke has done, and when should they do this?
Take a beat at the amber flag. We give in to too much societal pressure that we're not whole if we're not married. Something's wrong with us if we don't have children. So we look past some things thinking that we need to go ahead and get into something. But when you see a sign, pay attention. Trust your gut.
I like that. So abuse is a real serious thing, and we're going to put up the number for anyone who's being abused to contact at the end of the show. But so if a woman is being seriously abused, do you think that if they have the opportunity to get a hold of this book, do you think if they read it, that it'll give them the strength to kind of walk away from their situation?
That is my hope and my prayer. I think that whenever we share our testimonies, if people can see that one woman can do it, then they realize that they can do it. Absolutely, yes. And think about Hunk for Jesus. There's no physical abuse in that movie, but the manipulation, the degradation, the words that you use, it's real. And anybody who's not celebrating you and lifting you up and supporting your dreams, it's not your forever person.
Hello? Want to say that again?
Anybody who's not lifting you up, who's not supporting your dreams, who's not telling you you can be all that you can be, is not your forever person.
So now, in my opinion, I think that fiction is laced in truth and vice versa. So is there any truth to the depiction of the pastor's wife, what she thinks, what she's expected to do, and how she's portrayed in this book?
I say that Deceit is like the Bible. It is true, but it is not historically accurate 100% of the time. You know, we tell stories to communicate things. And it's a story, it's in the mythography tradition of Zora Neale Hurston. It's a compilation of people's stories. It is true. And it's like Law and Order. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Yeah, and I was talking to a mutual friend of ours, and we were talking about that same thing. I said, give me a question if you want me to ask her. She didn't give it to me, but I knew that was the question she wanted to ask. All right, so how can women, men too, I don't want to leave our brothers out, how can men or women not lose themselves in their husband's world and the expectations that they have of them?
We have to be intentional about that. Particularly we as women, because we're nurturers and givers, and we can easily get lost. But always remember, the person that your person fell in love with had a life, a separate life.
I like that.
And when you lose that, you start not to like yourself, and then you project that the person doesn't like you, and then you're down a rabbit hole. So always, always check in with yourself. Take care of yourself. Be good to yourself. Nobody can treat you better than you could treat you.
Well, do you feel that that's selfish, though?
No, I don't think self-care is ever selfish. I think sometimes we're too selfless. And when we lose ourselves, we blame other people, but we've done it to ourselves.
All right, this book is filled with a lot of scripture, wrapped up in the story, and it's obviously deliberate, since you are a minister. So do you feel that this is an example of trying to meet people where they are to give them God's word?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the reason it's called Deceit, it started out with a longer title. I worked with a ghostwriter, Sean Sanders, who's fabulous. Talked to him. He wrote some stuff. I edited some stuff. And the first name was Wake of Deception, because I wanted it to show what was left behind after the deceit. But in working on it and praying on it and living through it, Deceit came to me. I love the show The Affair on Showtime. It's an older show, but it has parts where one part, the first half is in the guy's perspective, the second half is in the woman's perspective.
Okay.
The same events, but through totally different eyes. And he wrote a book, the character on The Affair, called Descent. And I was like, I want a one-word title. And one day I woke up, Deceit.
Nice, nice. I like it. But hold that other title, because it might be another book.
One never knows. Or the movie.
Oh, that's right. I think this should be a movie.
It should be a play, a movie, and a TV show.
Okay.
Just
I'll
like Soul
volunteer to pray,
Food.
Brooke.
All right
I'll
now.
audition for you, but I'm going to get it.
Come on and do it.
We can write it together, honey. Sure. I'm good at following scripts, okay? All right. So you obviously think that it can
Yes.
bring somebody out. All right. So you also mentioned, which is so cool to me, a whole bunch of old R&B songs, and not one line, not one word, but 2 or 3 lines. I was reading, I'm going, okay, wait a minute, so now I'm singing my song.
Yes.
Like, it is so good, and I'm glad, because show is based around music. So do you feel that music is a part of life?
Most absolutely. A song can take you somewhere, back to a wonderful experience, forward to a dream. We can feel things and experience things through song that words will never accomplish.
Yeah, yeah. So it could heal, right?
Yes.
Or hurt, right?
Yes.
Or get us in trouble.
Absolutely. It can do all those
You can
things.
do all those things. Better watch out for them songs.
I was
but
minding my business in the pandemic until my girlfriends told me about one song, and I was like, I think I need some company.
What was that song? What was that song?
I don't know if I
Tell me.
should mention it as
Tell
a
me,
pastor.
tell me. We love it. It's the
Megan
Bistro.
Thee Stallion.
Okay, never mind. Okay. Anyway, I need to stay on track here. Oh, God. Megan, but wait, now, what was the song, though?
WAP.
That's the acronym for something.
Yes, it is.
Is it bad?
I saw
It's
a
a
lovely
daytime
meme
show.
that a person said, I told my pastor that WAP stood for worship and praise, and he posted, we need some WAP in here this
Oh,
Sunday.
no.
And that was a problem.
Oh, no.
It's a grown folks title.
Oh, no. All right, so this is one reason of many why I love Dr. Patterson, okay? She's so down to earth, so real, so wonderful, so straightforward, so the way we should be, and not pretentious, right?
I don't think, God knows the truth anyway, so we're not
Exactly.
fooling anybody.
Exactly. Oh, God.
Now, we want to be respectful. We don't want to be crazy, but we do have certain,
Well, we can
we're
innuendo
grown.
it.
Yes.
We're grown, I like that. You sure? I'm going to have to tell somebody I know I'm grown.
Good
Anyway,
and grown.
in all things, there are lessons, and even through this book of fiction, what lessons do you hope that the reader will walk away with?
I want the reader to walk away understanding that you are whole the way God made you, complete in Christ. You don't need anybody else or anything else to make you whole. I want the reader to understand, as we said earlier, you don't ever have to stay stuck, and that if we keep on through something, we never know what God has around the corner for us. To give up, and especially to take one's life in a season that seems dark, is to place a period where God only put either a comma or an ellipsis. And we need to keep going and see what's on the other side.
I love ellipsis.
Yes.
I put ellipsis in everything.
Yes.
So I'm going to pause and double back here for a minute because we got some extra time. So tell us something else about the book that's really shocking that would make someone really want to go get it tomorrow or right after they see this show.
Something that would make them really want to go get it is, I think that even though Brooke is a Christian woman, when things go wrong in the marriage, she finds an outlet for herself that helps her get her sexy back. Something that I think is very important in the book that I would like to encourage somebody to go get it is she sees a therapist. And she was skeptical about that initially because she wondered, do strong women really do that? And she found out lots of strong women need to. I think we need to dispel that for us, particularly as Christians, because we think we can pray our way through everything, and prayer is very important. It's a great place to start, but you don't stop at prayer.
That's right. That's right. Sometimes I don't even want to pray. depending on
Sometimes
what
you
it's
don't.
about, you know?
Yes.
And I tell God, look, I'm not talking to you today because you know what I'm thinking anyway, so I'm just not going to say it. I'm mad.
And what's awesome about God is God can handle that. And I love the scripture that says that the Lord examines our tears and puts them in a microscope. Sometimes we don't have the words.
That's right. So
And that's why we need music and prayer.
Yes, so you're just quiet.
Yes.
So can I tell one important part of the book?
Please do.
I have to tell this part. So Brooke and Bishop, and when you started calling them Bishop, I'm like, you got a name. Why we got to call him Bishop? But anyway.
He said, call me Bishop.
Child, please. Now, anyway, I digress. Come on back here. So Bishop's name is Ryan, right?
Yes, it is.
So when they went on their honeymoon, Ryan beat his wife.
He turned into somebody else. The representative left the building.
I'm almost crying just thinking of that. On their honeymoon. Now let me tell you something. I'm not a proponent of any kind of abuse, and there's all kinds. There's physical, mental, spiritual, all kinds of abuse. And we only really pay attention to that physical abuse. Lots of times you don't pay attention to the other abuse. But beating, lifting your hand, I would have left after the honeymoon or on the honeymoon.
Here's the thing that we have to be so careful about in those situations. Pride and ego get in the way. They had a big storybook wedding. What does it look like to come back from something like that and leave? And Brooke says her identity was caught up too much in the fact that this is who she was, and there are women like that. And that's why the Kelly character is in there, because Kelly, one time, she was done. But she was done after one.
That's right.
And so, and this is what I think is important about life. Nobody is ever all good or all bad. We all got some gray in us. And when we're naive enough to think it's either black or white, we got some living to do in that ellipsis space to get through.
So I think that's enough that we told you about the book. You need to go get the book to find out what happens. But, child, please. Anyway, so let's play a little game.
Okay.
I call it the Bistro Rapid Personality Mix, so we can get more into you.
Let's try it.
All right? And I have to admit, I'm always the one that messes it up because you're supposed to hear the question, answer it real quick, and don't think.
Okay.
But sometimes people say stuff, and then I got a question. But anyway, we're going to try to get through this, all right?
All right.
So if you could describe what music does to you in one word, what would that be?
Transports me.
Didn't I tell her not to do this? Because now I want to know where.
It depends on the song. So, like,
song.
say it's a club song, right? It could take me back to the 1980s when I was in the club doing that dance. If it's a gospel song, it might calm me down. It might lift me up. It depends on what song it is.
So why you leave the love song out? You know I'm going to go there.
If it's a love song these days, it makes me dream about what might be to come.
Yes. Okay. If you could be banished to an island, where would that be?
I want to get to Turks and Caicos so bad.
Really?
Yes, I've never been. It sounds fabulous to me.
I've heard a couple of things about it. What's her face? What's her name from the Players Club? Used to be married to the bishop there, or the prime minister there. Lisa Ray.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
So I ain't gonna burst your bubble, but yeah, you go. You know what? We could go together.
Why not?
Yeah, I like that.
Why not?
We going on a trip. Y'all want to come? We'll see. Anyway, all right. Tell us something about you that people would be surprised to know.
Something about me that people would be surprised. I'm hilarious. I think if I could get on a stage and do stand-up, I think people would be rolling.
Really?
Yes. And a lot of people don't know, because some people think I'm real serious and intense. I can be, but I'm hilarious.
No kidding. No, you're not funny at all. So.
And I'm actually a lot softer than people think I am. A lot of people think I'm like real tough and hard. I'm just a little squishy.
I can see that can come out, that tough and hard. You know, I mean, a lot of us have that tough and hard in us. You know?
And a lot of us black women, the world made us that way.
Okay, and folks don't understand
They don't.
that. But, you know, you got it. But do you have any children?
No, I don't. Part of the book that is true is my husband. We agreed that we wouldn't have children until we were married for a whole 2 years. And early on, he tried to say, oh, I want children now. I was like, did you know you were going to be 40 in a year when you said we'd have children in 2 years? And when I saw he wasn't taking care of the kids he had, I wasn't going to have one with him. Now, I do have a niece who's named after me.
Oh, nice.
She's my chosen daughter.
Okay.
Her children are my chosen grands.
And they're all
They are
spoiled.
9 and 6, and I love everything they do.
Mm.
She laughs. She says, how come everything they do is funny and everything I did had to be corrected? And
Mm.
that's not true. She remembers it differently.
You're right. Wait, so do you make her call you Carol or Aunt
She
Carol?
calls me Aunt Carol by choice, but they call me Mimi now because that's what I wanted the kids to call me.
Yeah. I have an Aunt Carol, and I was born when she was young, so she told me to call her Carol.
Okay.
So anytime I want to get on her nerves, I call her Aunt Carol. So,
Her friends, my niece daughter's friends, a 60-year-old woman calls me Aunt Carol. She's older than me.
yeah.
Everybody calls me Aunt Carol. And then I have a dear friend, when I met his Aunt Carol, I called her Aunt Carol and started laughing because I did to her what everybody does to me.
I tell you. All right.
But
So-
you know, Carol means song of joy, and that's why I'm so funny.
Does it? I'm gonna have to tell my Aunt Carol. I don't think she knows that.
Yes, think of Christmas carols.
Song of joy.
Song of joy.
I'm gonna come to the.
And some guy was really excited to tell me that Lynn means river, so he told me I'm a river of joy, and I believe that.
What else did he tell you?
I can't tell it all.
If you were to live again, would you do anything differently?
Oh, I would do so many things differently,
Really?
but the thing is, then I wouldn't be me.
Okay. Do you believe that there's regret? This is not on my paper, but anyway, do you believe that people have regrets?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't believe those people who say there's no regrets.
I think they're just saying that.
Mm.
And if they don't have any regrets, then they've done a whole lot of stuff.
Okay, so I need you to give me 3 steps that a budding author would do or should do to go out there and get a book produced.
Figure out your story, the arc of your story first. Because once you start telling it, you can go down rabbit holes in different angles unless you know where you're trying to go and take the reader. Figure out who your audience is, because it's very important. What I love now is Amazon self-publishing has changed the game. We used to have to try to get things ready, get a literary agent, try to sell it to a publisher. My book is printed on demand,
I hear that.
and I'm a happy camper.
I like
But I
that.
had to figure out the story, figure out the arc, and identify Amazon self-publishing.
Okay, I'm going to interject something else in here because I heard that Amazon is hard to get royalties from them. Is that true?
It hasn't been hard for me.
Oh, I like that. I need to pay attention to whatever you're doing. All right. So now I need to bring this in because the backbone of this book is abuse, right? And so I need to know what is the most important step for a person who's being physically abused to do. Tell them that, Kim.
It is very difficult to identify that because people's journeys are different. I think the first thing you have to do is realize that you deserve better. Because sadly, we sometimes feel like we may have done something to deserve it, and we never, ever deserve it.
Awesome. Dr. Patterson, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
It was a joy, this conversation. We must have some more conversations. Tell our viewers where they can find your book and how they can stay connected to you.
The book can be found on Amazon.com. The title is Deceit. It is by Carol Lynn Patterson, C-A-R-O-L, Carol Lynn, L-Y-N-N, Patterson, P-A-T-T-E-R-S-O-N. You can purchase it there. If you want to stay connected to me, you can go to my website, which is setcaptivesfree.com. You can subscribe and get updates about what's going on with me. If you want to follow me on social, you can look at set_captives_free on Instagram, or my name, Carol Lynn Patterson, on Facebook. And if you get the book, please, please, please scan the QR code in the back to get the playlist. I wanted to call it a soundtrack, but the movie's going to have a
that what that's
soundtrack.
for?
The book has
Yes.
a playlist, and all those songs that Venus were talking about, you
Yes.
can hear them on that playlist.
I like that. That's good. All right, thank you so much for tuning in. This has been the R&B Bistro Up Close and Personal with your host, Venus. Remember, it's never too late to live your dreams. And when you do, I'll be there to encourage you. Come on back and tell us, come on back and see who we have on the Bistro next time, all right? Follow me on all social and give us a comment about what you thought about the show and everything else. Thank you for watching. We love you. Take care. Bye.
Music is the answer. Sweet music is the way. Gospel, jazz, R&B touches you every day. Talk about how it moves you differently day to day. It's the R&B Bistro, where the music have its way. Music is the answer. Sweet music is the way. Gospel, jazz, R&B touches you every day. Talk about how it moves you differently day to day. It's the R&B Bistro. With music.